Royal fashion is usually associated with elegance, timeless style, and unforgettable glamour. But not every royal outfit has been a success. Even princesses, queens, and duchesses have worn gowns that left fashion critics scratching their heads. Sometimes it was an unusual design, sometimes it was an awkward fit, and sometimes the internet simply couldn't stop making jokes. Today's list isn't about attacking the women wearing these outfits. Fashion is subjective, and many of these gowns still have fans today. Instead, we're looking at royal dresses that sparked criticism, divided public opinion, or simply became some of the most controversial gowns in royal fashion history. Let's count down the top 10 worst gowns worn by royals. Number 10. Queen Máxima's Blue Feathered Natten Gown 2016. Kicking off our countdown is Queen Máxima of the Netherlands, a royal who is usually praised for taking bold fashion risks. In 2016, she attended a formal state banquet wearing a dramatic midnight blue gown by Belgian designer Nathan. The dress featured an elegant silhouette, but it was the oversized feathered detailing across the shoulders that immediately became the center of attention fashion. Critics were divided almost instantly. Some admired the couture, craftsmanship, and appreciated that Queen Máxima wasn't afraid to wear something different. Others felt the dramatic feathered neckline overwhelmed the rest of the gown, making it look more like a theatrical costume than formal royal attire. Online, people compared the feathers to everything from exotic birds to decorative pillows, and the memes quickly spread across social media. Even those who loved Queen Máxima admitted the feathered design was one of her more experimental choices, proved that sometimes a single design element can completely change how an outfit is. Remembered, that's why the blue feathered Nathan gown begins our countdown at number 10. Number 9. Princess Diana's Elvis Dress 1989. Taking the 9th spot is one of Princess Diana's most unforgettable fashion risks, her famous Elvis Dress. Designed by Catherine Walker for Diana's 1989 royal tour of Hong Kong, the ivory silk gown featured thousands of hand-sewn pearls, luxurious embroidery, and a dramatic standing collar that instantly became its defining feature. The craftsmanship was extraordinary, and the gown represented some of the finest couture of its era. However, it was that oversized collar that divided opinion almost immediately. While many fashion critics admired Diana's willingness to embrace bold couture, others felt the towering neckline overwhelmed the dress and distracted from Diana herself. The unusual silhouette reminded some people of Elvis Presley's famous stage costumes, earning the gown its now famous nickname. Despite the mixed reviews, Diana wore the dress with remarkable confidence, proving once again that she wasn't afraid to take fashion risks. Over the years, opinions have softened, and what was once considered one of her most controversial gowns has become one of her most iconic. Today, the Elvis dress regularly appears in museum exhibitions, documentaries, and books celebrating Diana's extraordinary fashion legacy. It may have divided critics at the time, but its place in royal fashion history is undeniable, earning it the number 9 spot. Number 8. Sarah Ferguson's Bright Floral Evening Gown, 1986. At number 8 is Sarah Ferguson, Duchess of York. During the mid-1980s, fashion embraced oversized sleeves, bold embroidery, dramatic silhouettes, and plenty of decorative detail. Sarah's floral evening gown reflected every one of those trends, featuring elaborate floral embroidery, puffed sleeves, shimmering fabric, and multiple layers of embellishment. The gown certainly attracted attention. Unfortunately, many critics felt there was simply too much happening at once. Instead of highlighting Sarah herself, the dress became the center of attention. Fashion writers later described the design as overly busy, arguing that a simpler silhouette would have better suited her warm personality and natural elegance. The dramatic styling also reflected the excesses of 1980s fashion, making the gown feel increasingly dated as styles evolved. Looking back today, the outfit has become something of a time capsule. While it perfectly captured the era in which it was worn, it's also a reminder that not every fashion trend ages gracefully. Even Sarah herself would later develop a much more refined wardrobe, making this one of her most memorable early fashion missteps. Number 7. Queen Camilla's Purple Velvet Gown, 2023. Taking the 7th position is Queen Camilla's deep purple velvet evening gown worn during an official state banquet. Purple has traditionally symbolized royalty for centuries, making it an appropriate choice for such a prestigious occasion. The gown itself featured elegant tailoring, luxurious velvet fabric, and classic royal styling that reflected the formal nature of the event. However, not everyone was impressed. Some fashion commentators felt the heavy velvet fabric appeared overly traditional and added unnecessary weight to the overall silhouette. Others believed the conservative design looked older than expected, especially when compared to the more modern evening gowns worn by other European royals. That doesn't mean the gown lacked elegance. In fact, many praised its impeccable craftsmanship and timeless construction. The criticism centered more on whether the design projected the fresh image many hoped to see during the early years of King Charles III's reign. The gown demonstrated that even beautifully, haute couture can divide opinion when expectations are especially high. Number 6. Princess Margaret's layered tulle ball gown, 1960s. Coming in at number 6 is Princess Margaret, one of the royal family's original fashion trendsetters. Long before Diana transformed royal style, Margaret had already established herself as one of Britain's most glamorous royals. She loved couture, dramatic jewelry, and elegant evening wear that reflected the glamour of the era. One of her most discussed gowns featured layers upon layers of tulle, dramatic ruffles, and an enormous full skirt that immediately caught everyone's attention. At the time, extravagant silhouettes were fashionable among European high society, but as decades passed, opinions changed dramatically. Modern fashion historians often argue that the overwhelming volume distracted from Margaret herself, making the dress appear more theatrical than elegant. While the craftsmanship remains impressive, many believe the design represents an era when more was considered fashionable. It remains a fascinating piece of royal fashion history, even if it isn't remembered as one of Margaret's greatest style successes. Number 5. Queen Letizia's red feathered evening gown, 2018. Breaking into the top 5 is Queen Letizia of Spain. Known for her sleek tailoring and minimalist wardrobe, Letizia surprised royal fashion fans when she appeared in a striking red evening gown featuring dramatic feathered sleeves. The rich crimson color looked spectacular and complemented her sophisticated style perfectly. However, it was the oversized feather detailing that immediately became the focus of conversation. Many critics felt the feathers distracted from an otherwise elegant gown, arguing that they added unnecessary drama to a design that would have looked stronger without them. Social media users quickly began making humorous comparisons, while fashion magazines debated whether the embellishments elevated or overwhelmed the overall look. Others completely disagreed, praising Letizia for embracing high fashion and proving she wasn't afraid to experiment with couture. Whether admired or criticized, the gown became one of her most talked about formal appearances and remains a perfect example of how one bold design choice can completely reshape public opinion. Number 4. Princess Beatrice's purple satin gown, early 2000s. Just missing the top 3 is Princess Beatrice. Before becoming known for her polished, modern wardrobe, Beatrice experimented with several youthful fashion choices that received mixed reviews. One of the most memorable was a shiny purple satin evening gown featuring oversized bows, dramatic draping, and a voluminous skirt. The rich colors suited her well, but many fashion critics believed the proportions overwhelmed her frame. Others argued the glossy satin reflected camera flashes harshly, making the outfit appear heavier than it actually was. The gown quickly appeared on several worst-dressed lists and became one of Beatrice's most discussed early fashion moments. Fortunately, her style has evolved significantly over the years, with many now considering her one of the better-dressed younger members of the royal family. Looking back, this gown simply reflects the fashion experimentation that many young public figures experience before finding their signature style. Number 3. Meghan Markle's Red Saphia cape gown, 2021. Taking our number 3 position is Meghan Markle's bold red Saphia cape gown worn at the 2021 Salute to Freedom Gala. The dramatic scarlet dress immediately attracted worldwide attention. Its fitted silhouette, sweeping cape, and vibrant color created one of Meghan's most striking post-royal appearances. Fashion critics praised the confidence of the look, with many describing it as glamorous and modern. However, others questioned the fit around the bodice and believed the dramatic cape dominated the overall design. As often happens with Meghan's wardrobe, public opinion quickly split into 2 camps. Supporters celebrated it as one of her strongest evening looks, while critics argued the theatrical cape made the outfit feel more suited to a Hollywood premiere than a charity gala. Regardless of where people stood, one thing was undeniable: the gown dominated fashion headlines for days and became one of Meghan's most discussed red carpet appearances. Number 2. Princess Eugenie's Emerald Evening Gown, 2016. Just missing the top spot is Princess Eugenie's Emerald Evening Gown. The jewel-toned color immediately impressed fashion writers, who agreed it beautifully complemented her complexion. The structured bodice and luxurious fabric also reflected the elegance expected at a royal gala. However, criticism focused on the gown's proportions. Some commentators believed the heavy material created unnecessary volume around the skirt, while others argued the structured silhouette lacked the graceful balance seen in many classic royal evening gowns. Although opinions were mixed, the dress quickly appeared on several fashion roundups discussing the year's most disappointing royal looks. Fortunately for Eugenie, her wardrobe has continued to evolve, and she has received far more praise in recent years for embracing cleaner tailoring and contemporary designers. Even so, this emerald gown remains one of her most debated formal appearances. Number 1. Princess Beatrice's Royal Wedding Hat and Valentino Dress, 2011. Taking our number 1 spot is arguably the most unforgettable royal fashion moment of the 21st century. When Prince William married Catherine Middleton in 2011, millions of viewers watched every guest arrive at Westminster Abbey. Among them was Princess Beatrice, wearing a pale Valentino dress paired with Philip Treacy's now famous sculptural fascinator. While the dress itself was relatively elegant, the dramatic hat completely stole the show. Within hours, photographs had spread across the internet, inspiring thousands of memes and countless jokes. Social media users compared the headpiece to everything from pretzels and antlers to abstract modern art. It quickly became one of the most talked about fashion accessories ever worn at a royal event. To her credit, Beatrice handled the attention with grace. She later auctioned the fascinator for charity, raising a substantial amount of money for UNICEF and children in crisis. Over time, many fashion historians have argued that the public reaction was far harsher than the outfit deserved. Nevertheless, no royal fashion moment has generated quite the same level of worldwide discussion. For becoming one of the most recognizable and most debated royal looks in modern history, Princess Beatrice's 2011 wedding ensemble comfortably earns our number 1 spot. That wraps up our countdown of the top 10 worst gowns worn by royals. While many of these outfits divided opinion when they first appeared, fashion is always subjective. Some gowns that critics disliked have since become iconic, while others remain unforgettable for all the wrong reasons. Which royal gown do you think deserved the number 1 spot? And was there another controversial royal look that should have made our list? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this countdown, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications for more royal fashion rankings, celebrity style stories, and entertainment countdowns. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.